Good morning. This is Judy from Artistic Artifacts in Alexandria, Virginia, and we're here live with our Saturday morning Facebook Live. So we have hope that you enjoy. We give it a little bit of how-to. We give some announcements about the store and upcoming events and things. But generally, we want to leave you with what if you tried this? Or what if you did this? So that, a little bit of challenge, a little bit of inspiration, just to keep you on your toes. So, because you guys keep me on my toes, so it's only fair. So, as we start gearing up for our Indian Bazaar, which is going to be held the weekend of President's Day weekend, what does that mean? So, let's talk a little bit about that. So, we would love to have you join us on our live sale. For those, we're trying to include people who can't come to the store. So that's going to be our live sale on Thursday evening at 7 o'clock. And then Friday and Saturday, we are going to set up the back room with items that I purchased when I was in India. So I made arrangements, I picked out fabrics, I picked out stuff like we have newly made bed covers with matching pillows in 4 colorways. So this is something that we can sell on our live, that we will have available in the bazaar. We have hand-carved little fun trinket holders. I don't know about you, but when I take my jewelry off, I throw it in a jar. I don't never get anything back in a drawer. So we have a lotus and we have our hands. So there's those types of things. So lots and lots of block printed shawls and silk from Chandiri, silk and cotton. So it is a purchasing event. So I brought so much stuff. We have some yardage. So if you're looking at creating with hand woven yardage, we went to a school that was teaching people how to weave to make a living. And you could hear the clacking of the looms throughout the whole village. So that's the event, is to come and shop, to see what I brought back with us or had made. And then on Sunday, we have Judy's Altered Minds that meet here at 1:30 on Sunday. It's the 3rd Sunday of the month. It's the only Sunday that we're here. And we will have a PowerPoint. 19th? Okay. So that will be the 19th, Kyle says. He's like, speak dates. So need to speak dates. So anyway, so that's what we're getting ready for. This month is our big Indian Bazaar event. So what we're doing today is we wanted to offer you some inspiration. We do buy yardage of block printed fabrics and ikat woven fabrics. They are lighter than what we normally use as quilting cottons, but can be used as quilting cottons. I had a couple of elastic waistbands pants made. I wear those all year round. They're a little thin, but they're the most comfortable pair of pants I've ever made. Make a pair of pajama pants. Jen made some pants, and she actually lined them, which is a little more than I'm into. But you can see that, they are lined. They're with a elastic, and they are, I can assure you, the most comfortable fabric you have ever made a pair of pants out of. I've had multiple blouses and dresses made with this wooden printed block fabric, and I love them. Absolutely love them. Very, very comfortable, easy care. You wash them, non-chlorine detergent, and put them in the dryer. I just put them in the dryer, and I hang them up when I take them out of the dryer. So they are definitely used in India for clothing, and I highly recommend them to be clothing as well. So there is yardage for that. We teamed up with Fit for Art and made a vest that is from the ECAT. So that is an alteration of their jacket pattern, and they made a blog about it and give you the instructions. So you can purchase the ECAT that you have, or you can purchase a jacket bundle that we have on the website. So there's 2 different colorways. So that's, again, something else that you can work with there. I'll just put these off to the side. We do have these caftans made, and they are with wooden printed block fabric as well as regularly printed fabric, meaning without the block prints. It's run commercially. But all of their fabrics that they make their clothing out of is pretty lightweight. So this is, again, a wonderful piece to wear as a caftan, dress, comfort, bathrobe, beach cover-up, lots of things done that. And I can't stress enough the easy care that this fabric has. How they wash things in India is much different than what we do here. So the clothing has to be easy care. Now, when I came back from my first trip, which was right at the beginning of the pandemic, this was one of the quilts that I made. So indigo is just a fabulous universal color, and then the sienna type was done by Susan, and so I created this quilt with these block printed Indian fabrics. I did stitch them with Deco Bob, which is 80 weight. I used Deco Bob in the top and the bottom. Why are you laughing, Kyle?
Good morning. Where is mine, Judy, from Mom?
Hi, Mom. So the 80 weight is a much thinner thread. So I did have to adjust my tension a little bit so it didn't pull and gather up. But the reason why I like that thread is it is lightweight and it makes smaller seams. So I did use that, but there was some adjustment. I did some machine stitching and as a piecing, and then I did do some hand stitching on the sienna type. So that was my first experiment. And you can see my binding is with the ECAT. Okay, so definitely you can quilt with this. This is my second piece that I did. As you can tell, I kind of like my center motif. I have a history of working with embroideries as my center motif. I love them. This is a vintage piece. I did not buy it in India. I probably got it in an estate sale somewhere. But I wanted to use that. But the fabrics around it are all block printed fabric. There are some ECOTs in here, but again, I created this the same way using the Deco Bob thread and creating borders with the Indian fabrics. Okay. All right, to make this very easy, we have 5x5s and we have 10x10s. So this gives you an assortment of colors that you can use, assortment of patterns and fabrics, lights and darks. We have this 5x5 that's indigo and some red, mostly indigo. And these are available, they're pre-cut, and it gives you some variety so that you don't, if you want to do some quilting, this is a great way to get that. So those are there. We do have some bundles, and that you can buy ECAT and yardage. So this gives you a little bit of an idea on the colors.
Can you explain ECAT, please? And also the correct spelling. We've got some questions.
Okay, sorry, comment questions. IKAT. ikat. Okay, it's kind of done. It's again like indigo is around the world. Ikat is around the world, and they create it in many ways. We have some really wonderful scarves that were done in ikat. So ikat is where you have your warp before you have wound it onto your loom, and you have dyed it in very specific patterns so that when you warp your loom and you have dyed your weft, so when they cross they create a pattern. So some is single ikat, which is where you've only done it on the warp. Some is double, where you have your warp and your weft. I've bought some absolutely beautiful ikat in Indonesia that is beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful, but it is very tricky. As a weaver and a dyer, I attempted just to dye my warp and was never really successful in lining up my weft with it, so it's very tricky. But it's known for creating these kind of shadow patterns. See how I don't know if I'm explaining that correctly, but this jaggedness to it. See here, that means it's been dyed warp and weft. And then this one here, it's just, it has that jagged look.
It almost looks like it's pixelated.
Yeah, yeah. This is more of a pattern where they have patterned it, and it's we have some really beautiful scarves. I'm trying to think if I brought them in yet. Show them Dudley's stack and whack quilt, and let me get that for a minute.
Yeah, this is done by our very own Dudley Shugart. She teaches a lot of classes for us, including beginners quilting. This one is for her stack and whack class. It's coming up in 2 weeks, the 25th. Yep.
Saturday.
It looks, last time I checked, which was yesterday, we still had some
Space.
Spots open for the class. So if anyone's interested, please go ahead, sign up. Great reason to road trip in, see us, stay with that obscure relative, maybe your niece, nephew, your kid, your cousin's roommate's friend.
There you go. And this is Aboriginal, so this is the stack and whack can be done with anything. Cave, Aboriginal, big patterns I think are better, but this is from the same yardage, and look at how many different patterns she got. So we're looking forward to seeing what everybody makes in that class.
Yeah, all that Aboriginal is ours, and
can be found online.
The blue isn't though, but we won't hold it against her. That's okay.
Really sets it off.
Yeah.
Okay, so these are some scarves that were woven, and they are considered ikat too. So you can see the differences in the pattern, and these are cottons. So it requires some very expert dyeing and weaving. These were made in India as well. Okay, what other questions do we have?
Just a correction from Jen. The stack and wax in 3 weeks, not 2 weeks. I can't do math. Thank you, Jen.
Okay, good.
Let's see here. I think that's it.
Okay.
Lots of very nice good mornings.
All right. So let's see where I am here. So the 5x5 squares, which you've seen that we had on our hearts with this, Jen made this, and she used the 5x5 squares. So this is a single with the Indian block printed fabrics, and this is the same pattern with different colorways, and we did already cover this in a previous Facebook Live that is now on YouTube, if you would like to take a look at it. And then Chris, of course, whipped up another bag. She does these great. This is KZ Stevens bag pattern that we have on order. sure Chris can put it into the notes. She did some block printed fabric with some hand dyed. We have some hand dyed fabrics that are done. We sell in fat quarter bundles, and she did some hand stitching. And I love the little detail here. So that's fun as well. And a pocket on the inside. And she did line them. So the bag, based on working with thinner fabrics, you kind of have to think about what the purpose of the item is that you're making. So this strap has some flannel in it to make it a little more stiffer and a little, just, you know, be able to hold the weight of what you're going to put in your bag. So there's 2 weights of this hand-dyed bundles, and we have, you know, multiple colorways and a lighter weight versus a heavier weight. And that's all I can tell you based on it. This is a little bit thinner, it feels a little bit softer. Susan Edmondson uses the heavier weight fabric, and that was used to create this quilt. So these hand dyeds were made slightly biased quilts, vertex pattern, and it was all with these wonderful hand dyed solids. All right, and then this is also, you know, the rice pattern, KZ Stevens rice pattern bag was done with log cabin and the hand dyeds and some hand stitching there.
This is another one by Chris.
Another one by Chris. Yes. Chris and their rice pouches does such a great job.
Someone in the comments, Chris, do you ever sleep?
No, I don't think she does. She swears she does. This one is a work in progress. So this was a batik, again, that I found somewhere here in the U.S. that somebody had brought back. And I used some Denise Burkett fabric with it, as well as some Indian block printed fabric. So as you can see, it's definitely a mixture of patterns and colors that all work together. And I did not worry about the weight of the fabric. There's batik in there, there's Indian block printed fabric, there's commercial printed fabric, as well as the batik piece.
Some great stitching to highlight.
Yes, I did use the pattern in there to stitch the fabric. I'm guessing that this was a napkin, but it got separated with its 3 other ones, so I only had one. And I'm trying to figure out, I think it needs more, but I haven't figured that part out yet, so it's kind of, as I said, a work in progress. But we did bring some trims back from India, which the trim stores are unbelievably amazing. And I'm like, okay, well, you know, does it need a little bit here, a little bit here? I'm not sure. Does it go here? I just think it needs something of interest, and I haven't figured out what it is yet. So maybe it's beads. I don't know. What do you think? It just keeps percolating, but it is not finished. But the Indian trims are wonderful. They are absolutely great, and we have them online as a bundle, and individuals you can order by the yard. And then the other thing that we have, I bought these during the pandemic, these embroideries, and they really haven't been able to show how to work with them. But so these are embroideries, kind of what happens with these, and it happens with Hmong trims too was that these trims are so strong that the cotton that's used to make the fabric or make the garment dissolves, goes away, is washed too much, and so you end up with these really, really strong trims. And if you've ever seen pictures, so this is Gujarat Rabari embroidery, and they will stand and stitch and not like even look at this when they're doing it, and they just sit and they stitch all day long. I'm like, I don't know how it's not bloody, but it's not. But to me, they just are fabulous. So I love it. So what if we, I keep liking these orange ones, maybe this one, but this is some of this hand-dyed fabric. And there's some funky colors. I mean, look at this screaming orange. Whereas you always have some beautiful blue and red. So this is one type of embroidery that we will also have at the bazaar. And then the other thing is we have embroidery from another area. This is Labini embroidery. So this is a different type of embroidery, but it's always used to embellish clothing. So they're going to do the stitching. So and these are a little more comforting to us in that they're squares, they're pieces that are done in a shape more to what we're used to. So any of these embroideries could be used for pieces on a jacket, on a quilt, on a frame, on a bag. So they're very useful to have. And then here is a piece I keep taking home and bringing back, is this one. I just think that one's got some very specific life to it. I love it.
Chris is like, I've got a bag idea for these. And goes, maybe 2 bags after.
Yes, yeah. So this is more of, it's wonderful to collect textiles, which we all collect textiles, but it's wonderful to use some of these things that maybe we term precious, and that you get them out of the box or hang them over, the back of the bed or whatever. I mean, a lot of places I hang pieces as art in themselves, a shawl, a piece of fabric that's got some detail to it. It stands on its own. So I encourage you to try that. So are there any other questions? I think Chris has an announcement. Did we have a winner for the Artistic Artifacts Creative Minds group? And we have a new one. So I'm sorry, I didn't check that before I went online. I went live. So Chris, can you help us out on that one?
It's because we were working on your computer. You couldn't check it.
I know. So, and then we have another monthly challenge. So what happens is come to our Artistic Artifacts Creative Minds Facebook page, ask to join. This is our community page. People can post what they're doing with products that you bought from us, some new ideas, ask for help, and then we have a challenge on a monthly basis, and the winner of the challenge is receives the $25 Artistic Artifacts gift certificate that can be used online or in the store. So we hope that you participate with that.
The winner is Lisa Tabak. If I butchered that, I'm sorry. Tabak.
Oh, thank you. Great. Okay. And then I want to leave you with, again, some more visions. I have 2 pieces that were given to me. I'm not sure if they're getting them back. That are wonderful. So I did pretty well for a while, and I had some great Facebook pages. This was from photographs. This is from Kathy, who works with us, and she took the Facebook pictures and downloaded them onto Fabric and created this collage. which is absolutely fabulous. And then this one here, Dave and I in front of the Taj Mahal, which was pretty wonderful.
Yeah, what time was that picture taken?
I think we went pretty early. We were there before sunrise.
You were texting me at like 3 in the morning.
Yeah, well, no, it wasn't that early.
For us?
I think for you. Yeah, maybe. And then this one was done by Suzanne, and so she's used these beautiful trims as well in a great collage. So it's really quite wonderful. And these will be hanging at the bazaar and help us decorate. All right. So I want to leave you with some inspiration for using your very special textiles. And of course, if you need any very special textiles, we can help you with that. Look for all the information. Most of it is published in the newsletter. We do have events posted on Facebook. We do have some postings on Instagram. So if you're not a Facebook social media person, please sign up for our newsletter to ensure that you don't miss any of our special events. We'd love to have you as part of our community if you're not already with us. So thank you. Have a very creative day, and I hope that we helped you find some inspiration.